3 tonight. What's going on, everyone? This is your Giant pregame show presented by Sherwood Ford. Tyler, producer Liam, Caroline here with you guys, and happy Saturday. I was just saying, Tyler, yesterday, a beautiful sun-shining day, and today it's like a windstorm here in Edmonton. You never know what you're going to get.
You know what we need? We need a good rain, Caroline.
We
need like 3 days of rain, wash away. Like right now it's windy, and there's so much like dust and dirt. So you're just walking around in like a dust storm all day. It sucks. We need a good rain. We need a good rain and an Oilers win.
That's exactly it. We already got Jason in the Facebook chat saying, let's go. Huge game tonight. Guys, let us know. Sound off in the comments. Tonight is a big game. But of course, at the beginning of our pregame show, we always recap the last game. So let's talk about a nice 3-2 win for the Oilers, a sweep in California, a 6-game winning streak, and a solid second position spot in the Pacific for the Edmonton Oilers. Not too shabby right about now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game for the Oilers. They were far and away the better team compared to the LA Kings, and it was a big 2 points in terms of the standings, like you said, because now you take a peek at things, and they're 3 points up on the LA Kings with a game in hand. That's a fairly sizable gap, especially when you consider the fact that LA only has 9 games left in the season as well. So it was a massive 2 points. And we were chatting before the show. There was not really a point for me in that hockey game where I felt like the game was in jeopardy or anything like that. Like they dominated play at 5-on-5 for most of the game. I'd say outside of kind of a 10-minute stretch in the second period where LA looked to have a bit of fight. But they're just playing so well right now. It's hard to not be confident in them regardless of the opponent.
I know. And then obviously massive shout out to Jay Woodcroft, because I swear a couple months ago we were all reeling. We were like, we don't know if this team's going to go into the playoffs. We were more confident in them not going to the playoffs than we were with them making it. And here we are under Jay Woodcroft, and we're sitting in a real good position. Yeah,
it's been unreal with Woodcroft. And the biggest difference again is 5-on-5 play, in my opinion. And LA is a pretty good 5-on-5 team themselves. And Edmonton, again, the shots in that game were 25-23 in favor of LA. It was close, but Edmonton got, a few goals, 3 of their goals coming at 5-on-5 as well. And then also their ability to just, in that last minute, it was keep away. LA couldn't touch the puck at the end of that hockey game. They didn't even get a scoring chance. They didn't really have a chance to get their goalie out because Edmonton was just cycling so hard in the offensive zone. So there's a lot to like about this hockey team right now, and it's good that they're playing as well as they are because Colorado's coming to town, and they're an absolute wagon.
I know. Everyone's talking about that in the chat right now. We'll get to that when we get to our opposition report, but I think a little nerves from Oilers fans right now I can understand why. Yeah. But let's talk about Evan Bouchard. Close the night out with 3 points, 1 goal, 2 assists, maybe arguably his best game of the season. That's 10 goals and 28 assists from Evan Bouchard so far, and a guy that's been very solid for the Edmonton Oilers and steady, just consistent for most of the part.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a rookie, right? So there's been, those few kind of rough patches for Bouchard, like there has been for really every defenseman on the roster. But how about these stats? He is tied for 10th in 5-on-5 points by a defenseman. He's 1 point back of a guy like Adam Fox, who won the Norris Trophy last year, and Adam Fox has played 120 more minutes than Evan Bouchard. So he's been one of the most consistent producers of offense in terms of defensemen in the entire NHL. He's 22nd in the league in 5-on-5 shots for percentage, which means the Oilers are very consistently outshooting the opposition when Bouchard is on the ice. And that's a number I love looking at for defensemen because, again, Bouchard might not strike you as the guy who's, that big rough and tumble defenseman who's going to break up a cycle. But what he does well is he moves the puck out of your end. And it's hard to get scored on when the puck's not in your zone, right? And that's what I love about Bouchard's game. His ability to just calmly get the puck up the ice and away from danger is really what makes him effective. And last game, I mean, it was great to see him just unleash that Bouch bomb. I also think that goal unlocked a bonus for him in his entry-level contract. I think that goal was worth like $212,000 to Bouchard. So the smile was extra big from Bouch with that one, I think.
You would know that, Tyler. All right, Connor McDavid scoring yet another goal. He's on a 6-game goal streak right now, and 7 goals in his last 6 games, and a 15-game point streak. I mean, Connor right now is feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely feeling it, and it brings up the question. He needs 8 goals in the last 10 games to get to 50. Do you think he does it?
I think he does it. I'm not betting against Connor.
Yeah.
That's what I would. I have more confidence in the fact that I would not bet against Connor.
Yeah, and I wouldn't either. I think, I predicted on Oilers Nation Radio that I think he has a hat trick in him this year still. I think in one of these games, he's going to go off and score 3. Maybe it's tonight, Saturday night against Colorado. He gets up for these big matchups, but the streak's been unreal from McDavid, and he's absolutely ripping the puck. Mike from Yeg in the Twitch tab brought up start taking the over on McDavid's shot props. He's hit it in 7 straight games. He's had at least 4 shots on goal in 7 straight games.
I agree. I do think he has a Hattie left in him too, Tyler, because his reaction after he scores, this guy's amped. This guy's on another level mentally. Like, we know what he can do on the ice, but I feel like mentally he's locked and loaded, and I would not be surprised if we see maybe 1 more, 2 more monster nights from Connor McDavid.
Yeah, and the best part about McDavid is he's so good, it doesn't matter the competition, right? Like, he can go off against absolutely anybody. We're talking about hat tricks. He's had at least 2 hat tricks in back-to-back seasons. He only has 1 this year.
Okay,
so I think he is due. The numbers support my case. I'm not just saying it.
Did you just figure that out right now?
Yeah, I clicked through his game logs quickly.
Good for you, Tyler. This guy's fast. Okay, Warren Fogle also scored. That was a pretty picture from our bottom 6, and something that the Oilers need to keep doing as this momentum builds going into the playoffs, hopefully, knock on wood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they need their bottom 6 to keep producing, and their third line really didn't have it last game. Zach Kassian actually ended up barely playing in that hockey game. Towards the end, I don't think he saw a shift in the last period and a half, or very few, and he only ended up playing 7:39 on the night at 5-on-5, which is one of the lowest numbers on the Oilers. The third line wasn't good. The fourth line was, though, and or I should say when they put Fogle with McDavid, or with Nuge and Ryan again, it seemed to spark something. They need more from their bottom 6. Last game was good, and Fogle's the guy specifically. You're hoping that goal can get him going a little bit, because he's been snake bit. He's been inconsistent in the offensive zone. I think he's been inconsistent with his physical play as well. They need more from a big body like Fogle, and a guy who, Zach Lang pointed this out the other day, he's got playoff experience too. He went on a few runs with Carolina, so if he can get going, that's important for the Oilers.
Mike Smith, 31 saves on the night per Bob Stauffer. In Mike Smith's last 7 starts, he's 6-0-1 with a .923 save percentage. Is the faith, Tyler, I'm going to ask you first, is it starting to build? Oilers Nation, I'm also talking to you. Is the faith starting to build?
It is. Like, I think it has to be, right? And that's something Dave Tippett talked about when he was still the coach, was they need to get Schmitty up and running. They had to get him up and running. Well, they kind of did, and maybe there was something to that, because Ken Holland's talked about that as well, that he had confidence in his 2 goalies, and right now he's looking smart for having that confidence, because Smith's playing great. I'm not going to say I'm 100% confident in him. There's still that kind of uneasy feeling of a bad game could come in any moment, but what I do like is that Woodcroft's giving him some rest. I think you're going to need both these guys down the stretch. So give a couple games to Smith and give a couple to Mikko. Rotate it around. I think that's the right way to handle the goaltending.
Now, when's the last time Mikko was in net?
Well, he had that illness, right? So the last time he would have played was April 7th against, that was Smith who played on April 7th. March 30th was the last game for Mikko.
So some time in between. So this is going to be a big game for Mikko Koskinen.
Yeah, it is. And he's been playing well as of late, too. I mean, he only allowed 4 goals combined in his last 2 starts before he went down with that illness. He probably would have gotten more of the starts on that road trip if he didn't get sick and Mike Smith didn't get a chance to take over, right? So, Mikko's been good. Like I said, you're going to need both these guys. The Oilers are not a 1-goalie team, and Mike Smith getting going is huge, but keeping Mikko going and in the game as well is also just as important, in my opinion.
Well, that's exactly what Jason said in our Facebook chat. If the goalies can stay hot, Oilers can have a run. A lot of comments saying that tonight's going to be a tough game, but it could be considered as a bonus game, and why not win a bonus game at home? So you guys never know. Yep. We were talking about this the last time the Oilers played the Avs. That's when the Oilers played really well, went into overtime, and we called it the series of unfortunate events that happened in OT, and then obviously Nathan McKinnon just did what McKinnon does and unleashed an absolute monster on us. But it's possible to come out of this game with 2 points. Yeah,
it was an OT loss last time they played, not an OT win.
Did I say OT win?
No, I'm laughing. I'm poking fun at Liam. It was an OT loss for the Edmonton Oilers. You're right, that series of unfortunate events there. But I think you can take from that game that the Oilers, They have the tendency, and it's weird that they do this, but they play up to their opponents a lot. Think of the win against Washington, the win against Tampa Bay, the bringing a team like Colorado to overtime, right? They have this way of really elevating their play, and they've been so good on home ice as of late that you have to like their chances a little bit more. The only thing with Colorado specifically, they're coming in on back-to-back games. They just played last night. They beat Winnipeg in OT. They're on a nice run themselves. In the second half of back-to-backs, they're actually 6-1-1 this season. They're very good playing the second half of back-to-backs for some reason. I just want to put that up.
That's a perfect way to segue into our opposition report presented by Yegburger. We're talking about it right now. Obviously, the Oilers are taking on a very, very good Colorado Avalanche team. The Avs are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. And just like Tyler said, they're also on a little bit of a run, winning their last 5 games. So, Tyler, we know the star power that's in this team.
Yep.
Again, a tough game tonight for the Oilers, but where I feel, I was just saying to the guys before we started recording this pregame show, I'm not stressed about it because we're at home, and the last time we played this team at home, we did well.
Yeah, and I mean, the Oilers went out on the road against Colorado and played them well too. Like, Oilers fans should be very confident in this team right now. Just look at this stretch. They've won 9 straight home games, and they've beaten good teams at home. They beat the Lightning. Like, it's a great time to be an Oilers fan right now because they're playing so well, and you're going into a Saturday night game against one of the best teams in the league. And as an Oilers fan, you got to be sitting there going, we legitimately have a shot to win this hockey game. It's a great feeling.
All right, let's get into the lines for the Colorado Avalanche. And like I said, some heavy hitters on this team.
Yeah, they do. Nathan McKinnon, he's got 3 goals in his last 5 games. He's centering the top line with Andrei Burakovsky and Mikko Rantanen. JT Compher with Valeri Nichushkin and the deadline pickup Arturi Lehkonen, the former Canadian. Nico Sturm centers the third line with Nicholas Aube-Kubel, who scored last night for the Avs, and Alex Newhook, the former World Junior standout. Darren Helm with Logan O'Connor and Andrew Cogliano, former friend alert, Andrew Cogliano on the fourth line for the Colorado Avalanche. The D pairings for Colorado, Bowen Byram, who is just sensational, and Cale Makar, who is also just sensational. Devon Taves with Josh Manson is the second pair. That is a tough shutdown duo. Expect Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to see a lot of Devon Taves and Josh Manson in this hockey game. And Johnson & Johnson, no more tears. Get it? Jack Johnson and Eric Johnson is the third pairing for the Colorado Avalanche. Nazem Kadri out of the lineup, Gabriel Landeskog out of the lineup, Ryan Murray out of the lineup, Sam Girard out of the lineup. So the Avs are pretty banged up right now. So maybe that's something, again. They went to overtime last night. I know Colorado's been good in back-to-back games, but going to overtime in a city with no airport in Winnipeg, I think they could be a little run down, and the injuries have piled up a little bit.
I want one joke from you per pregame show.
The Johnson & Johnson one was right there for me.
That was great, though.
Like a young Gene Principe.
I love it. We got Joe in our chat constantly asking what's going on with Draisaitl. Is he healthy as we get into these lines for the Oilers?
Yes. Leon Draisaitl's healthy. Leon Draisaitl is fully expected to play in tonight's hockey game like he did last game. He's on the second line. Hyman and Yamamoto set to be his wingers. McDavid, Puljujarvi, and Kane, though, is still going to be at the top line. Nuge, Fogle, and Ryan, expecting that trio to stay together in this hockey game. And then things get interesting. I think Jay Woodcroft has some decisions to make down on that fourth line. Based on their skate, according to Jack Michaels, it will be Cassian staying on the fourth line, I believe, with McLeod and Brassard. I'm a little bit surprised they're not trying to switch that up just because didn't look like Jay Woodcroft was keen on playing Zach Cassian a lot in this hockey game. He hasn't been great. So I don't know. I thought maybe we'd see a change there, but based on what we saw this morning, it does not look to be that way. And your D pairings, the D pairings are staying consistent for the Oilers, and I like that. It's basically the same. I don't expect them to change it at all. Going down the stretch into the playoffs, Nurse with Ceci, Keith with Bouchard, Kulak with Barry. It works. Morning skate today, the fourth line did stay Brassard, McLeod, and Cassian. They need more from that trio, that's for sure. Starting goalies as well. I can do that quickly. Mikko Koskinen, we talked about it. He's getting the start for the Edmonton Oilers. Darcy Kemper is going for the Colorado Avalanche. He did not play last night in the win over Winnipeg. So Colorado resting their number one and saving them for this game against the Oilers. And Kemper has been unbelievable as of late. This guy has only allowed 12 goals in his last 5 starts. He's had a save percentage of .920 or better in 3 of those 5 starts as well. He's very, very good. He will be very, very tough to beat, but the Oilers have been scoring a ton recently, and I like their chances to get a couple past Darcy Kemper tonight.
And let's move on to our bet of the game presented by PointsBet, because we were talking about a specific bet with Connor McDavid that we should start to take.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, 7 games in a row where this guy has hit his shot prop, and tonight it is set at 3.5. It's paying -139. It really does feel like one of those free money things right now. McDavid is ripping the pill. He's trying to get to 50, and I think taking him to go over 3.5 shots is a good call again. The Oilers, as you can see here, they are home underdogs, just barely, -105 on the money line. The Avs are -115, so the Oilers are dogs. As underdogs this year, the Oilers are actually pretty decent, 7-11-1, which is a pretty good record when you're an underdog. If you like the Oilers to win in regulation, plus 135. They've been doing it pretty consistently as of late, especially on home ice. And the Oilers team total is paying plus 115. It's set at 3.5. Maybe if you like the Oilers to pick up a few goals and maybe you don't trust them to win, taking the team total is not a bad bet.
I don't know. I don't feel nervous about this, guys.
No,
I don't believe in like the jinx, but for those who do, I will knock on wood. I don't feel nervous. I didn't feel nervous against the Kings. I didn't feel nervous the last time we played the Avs. I don't know. I weirdly get more nervous for the games that we're playing like a really bad opponent because you know how it goes. We play down to our opponents, but I feel good about right now.
And I mean, hey, feeling confident against good teams. Well, there's a lot of them coming up on the schedule for the Oilers. We talked about this on the last show. They're going Minnesota, Nashville, Vegas, Dallas, and Colorado again over their next 6 games here. So it's a hectic stretch for the Oilers, but it's an important one. They can put themselves in a great spot. That magic number is now down to 14 for Edmonton. I didn't check. Is Vegas in action tonight? Liam, did we have that up at some point? No, they're not in action tonight. All right, no Vegas in action tonight. Thank you very much, Liam. Wait, no, they're playing Arizona tonight. Vegas is playing Arizona. I'm not sure if LA plays. Should have done some sort of research. Sorry, Liam. I know. I'm sorry.
Speaking of Nashville, you guys are going to be in Nashville really soon.
Yeah, we are going to be doing hopefully some pregame shows from out in Nashville as well. We got the Nation Vacation coming up. That's going to be a ton of fun. And the big question, we debated this on Oilers Nation Radio the other day, could the Oilers potentially clinch while we're there?
That'd be cool.
It's unlikely that they can. They would basically have to win all their games and have Vegas lose all their games as well. But still, the dream is maybe alive a little bit.
The hockey gods could make it happen.
You never know. You never know.
Any fun comments?
What do we got in the Twitch chat? Mike pointed out that Nathan McKinnon had 11 shots last night. 11 shots on goal. That is nuts. Like, shutting him down is imperative for the Oilers to find a way to win tonight. Mistaken Mexican says, sit Cassian. Get him angry going into the playoffs. Start growing the chops. I think, I think sitting Cassian would be fine, in my opinion. You try throwing Archibald in the lineup, even though he hasn't been very good. I have time to see Devin Shore back in the lineup even, or start going 11-7 again. Like, take out Cassian, throw an extra D-man in the lineup, and that seemed to work for the Oilers. I would be a fan of it. If Chris Russell is healthy, ready to go, why not play him? That could help take some minutes away from guys like Nurse, and I think Nurse is a little bit overworked right now as well. I would go 11-7 again, but we're not getting that tonight. Someone else pointed out that we now have the Nation beers in front of us. Almost every iteration. I think we're missing a couple of the can designs, but they are full as well. So maybe once the Oilers clinch, you'll see me start to crack them.
I was about to say, when the Oilers clinch, you should shock. Is that what the shotgun one?
Shotgun, yeah.
Okay.
These are sales guy Jared's, so I don't think Jared would be thrilled with me drinking his beer, but he said I'm allowed. Actually, I just took them. I didn't ask him about them, but I'm sure he's fine with us using them for.
Literally 30 going on 130.
Shotgun? Is that what the kids are calling it nowadays?
I'm like, wait, am I totally off? Am I going to look like an absolute, sorry as I kick you, an absolute crazy person? All right, well, that's all. That's right now in my chat, everyone's just saying, let's go Oilers. The Oilers are now rolling.
They are.
People are still saying that they're going to give time to believe in Smith because they've been hurt before. So that's everything going on in my chat, Tyler.
Ash97 wants predictions. What do you think happens tonight? Give us your prediction. Look into the future.
I think Connor will score 2 goals tonight. I think Connor will score 2 goals tonight. Wasn't it Kadri who hit Darnell Nurse's helmet off?
Yeah.
So now that Kadri's not in the game, I'm like, I don't know. This is gonna go in the Oilers' favor. But this is not a jinx. This is a prediction.
Oh yeah.
So I think if I had to guess, I'm gonna say Connor 2 goals, Oilers win.
I'm with you.
Really?
I'm agreeing with you. 2 goals for Connor, 5-4 Oilers victory is my prediction. The positivity, you can feel it.
I know.
We're coming down the stretch. The weather's starting to get better. There's not a lot of snow on the ground. We should be feeling good.
It's the windstorm. Maybe we'll chalk up the dust on the street, magic dust or something.
Gonna turn the Avalanche to dust tonight.
Yeah, we'll roll with that one. All right, everyone, we'll wrap up on that note. This has been your Giant Pregame Show presented by Sherwood Ford, and we'll see you next time.